Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm. And today we carry on our series, and what we did on the last episode is that we have done the item equipped bit. So now we need to do the unequip. So we need to handle this information here, this logic, and let's do that one. So the first thing we need to do here is that we need to go to the Windows. And here we need to go to the context menu, and we need to because everything starts on the context menu, right? Everything started from here. Every logic comes from this part. Now we have the unequip, so we have to do the logic here. So we're gonna just basically call this player use item, and here we are gonna basically call the player unequip item. So I'm just gonna align this stuff properly here, right? Just so things get a little bit nice. Now, so we need to do the logic first for when the player unequip this item, and that's very easy to do. So when the player use the item, I'm just gonna mark it as blue. And here we are gonna create, I'm just gonna copy this logic, paste it here. I'm gonna change the name. So I'm gonna call this API player unequip item, right? And this is gonna be, again, client, and this is gonna be server, and this it's going to be multicast. Right now, what we need to do here is something very simple. So here we just need to call the on client, run on client. This is gonna be run on the server, right? And it's gonna be multicast, right? Now the next thing you need to do here is that you just need to call this in a chain effect. And then from that, we just call here. As you note, if you notice, I do this because I copy the name and then paste it. It's easy than actually trying to figure out and type everything. It's just a faster way to work. Then what we need to do here is that we need to do the same logic here. So I'm gonna just go back. Instead of, we need to add it to do the item type, but that's fine. So I'm gonna just leave this to do here. I'm gonna find the item, same logic. Now here we should actually have added a branch in case the item has been added, but we're gonna unequip the item. And well, what we need to do here now is that we have the BPI equip the item, and now we need to create a similar one to unequip the item. So we're gonna go back to the player palm, coming here, we add a new variable, and this is going to be called BPI I unequip item, and this needs to pass exactly the same information, just the st item slot. So we're going to pass here the here item, right? And then we're going to pass here the st item slot, and it's going to be the object information, what item we're going to unequip, and things like that. Now what we need to do here is that on the player, let's before we do this, let's just do it like here, right? So just going to copy that and paste it here, right? Paste the item right there. Now we can paste it, copy the item that we're trying to do the logic. Now the item slot also has to be here, and its equip equals false, so that's fine. And then after, we just need to reload the inventory. As you can see here, the logic is pretty much the same, literally is the same. It's just that we have to do the difference here. Now we need to open up here the master. It's gonna call, it's gonna open up player, something to do with the player, this one here, the master RPG character. And now I'm going to go back here to the item equip here. I'm just going to comment this when the user equip item. Now we need this new function here, this unequip item, right? Just going to copy that. And I'm going to go back here to the item equip. I'm going to paste it here. And then here we need to do the logic. So basically, I'm just going to copy this information right here. I'm going to paste it there, just because it's faster, because we already have this logic figured out. I'm going to plug the item right here. And now here, when we unequip, we need to do, I'm gonna just say hello for now. So I'm gonna go, I'll get a sword, I equip, and if I unequip, oh yeah, we haven't hooked up the event yet. So on the context menu here, let's just literally copy this block, paste it, and call the API unequip. So we're just gonna do here API unequip client. So we're gonna plug it right there. We plug this slot right here, and that's it. So plug this stuff right here, and we added that data right here. Now, so what happened now? I think that then we just need to basically plug this value right here. So we plug this value right here, right there, and then when the player unequip the item, that's it. So we're gonna plug it right here. Now if I press play and I get the item right here, I just press use, I'm using the item, and if I press unuse, and also is unequipped equals to false, which is fine, but the item is still in the player hand. And then you're probably asking, but how can we actually figure out that a way to do this? Now thankfully, on the player here, on the character, we have this logic figured out for here, right? And we also created a function called unequip main weapon. So since this is a main weapon, we can just do that, and we can just say unequip the player main weapon. And then what happened is that when I compile and save that data, I go back here, and if we did everything right, we use the weapon and we unequip the weapon, and look at that, we have a fully working tutorial, more or less. You know, like the inventory is kind of, it is working. Of course, we have bits to finish, but look at this, guys. We can drop the item, we can delete the item, and if I go back here, we can, you know, use the item. Now there is an issue that when I drop the item, I need to unequip the item. So to do that, or drop or delete. So what I'm going to do here is just go to here, right, to when we handle the item usage, and we're going to basically call here handle item unequip, right? So the first thing that I would like to do here, okay, first thing I would like to do here is a couple of things. So I only want to unequip the item if the item is valid, right? If the item is valid, and I want to create a break and a break here, and so I'm gonna add here and clausula, that, and if my item is equipped, because don't you agree that if those things they're not there, if the item doesn't exist, or if the item is not equipped, why am I unequipping the item for, right? There's no reason to do that. And also the reason why I am doing this, it's because look how cool is this reusability now. So now when you, the player, you want to, let's say, delete the item here, right? Let's say you're trying to drop the item. What I can do here is that I can call that data, and I can plug this one right here. So let's see if this is going to actually work. So if I have the item equipped and I try to drop the item, look at that. And the same, like the delete is the same principle. Like the delete right now, it doesn't do anything. So if I go here and is equipped, delete, the item is still there. Another option as well is saying, oh, you can't delete, you can't drop items that it's already equipped. So you could actually do that as well. It depends what kind of what you need for your game. Some people, they like to do that, which is like a nice way to warn the player. But anyway, now if I go back here and I equip my sword, and if I, let's say, drop, that's fine, right? And if I go back here and I equip the sword, use, and then delete, and then it's not equipped anymore. One thing that I just want to do here before I finish this tutorial is that I'm going to go back to my character inventory here. And I'm going to open up here the items. I'm going to open up the sword. And here on the sword, this is actually done in a wrong way. We need to go to the character items sword, and actually we need to move. I'm just trying to inventory blueprints because I end up creating items. So all those item pickers, they have to be moved inside the player. The reason why of this is because I want to make sure that everything it's on the right place, right? So what happens is that if I go back here to the inventory blueprints here, I'm gonna get all those items and I'm gonna move inside my master RPG character, because I only care about the base one. I don't care about any others, right? So if I go back here to the master RPG characters, I should have the items, and in here I'm gonna expand the sword. So I'm gonna move the sword picker right there, and then after I'll create maybe a 3D object for the apple. But here I just want to make sure that my sword, the main mesh, looks like a sword, you know? So the player can now basically press play and see like a sword here, like, and then we can pick up the sword. And then I can do these things. I can drop the sword again. You see that the sword doesn't have texture? That's because we just need to search for the RPG texture, compile and save that data. And now if I press play, look at that. We have a sword, and the sword is fully functional. And I can get the sword here, and you know, then it's just a case of adding your own animations, attack, and all that stuff. But here we can drop the item. Look at that. Looks quite cool. Maybe a cool thing as well would be maybe whatever the item location is on the player we dropped. But you know, like for example, you know, we finished the tutorial here, but just in case, if you want to do, let's say, a cool effect, you get where is the location of the sword, and then you just drop, you know, instead of dropping in front of the player. But it's fine. It's a game. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be super accurate. Once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. This was very cool tutorial. We have a couple of things to finish on this tutorial. You know, by now you should have the knowledge already to expand this inventory to your own characters. And if you want to, you know, equip the torso, the chest, you know, you can do this. Of course, I'm going to be expanding a couple of things in here. I would like to add some save and load system. I want to add some basic armor to this character, because I already have the models ready. I just need to export them and prep and set up for us to use. And also I would like to create some kind of simple vendor assistant or something like this. But first we need to clean up our UI, which is something that we're going to do in the next one, is to create the grid version as well of this. And also when you hover over here, it needs to display the item context menu. So there's a couple of fair bits to do. I'm going to focus first on the UI, and then after I'll finish those small things. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.